Tapped into Dr. Google, Wikipedia, Reddit, fandom, WikiHow. Hey everybody, welcome back. If you're new, my name is Chris and I'm super excited about today's video, which is in collaboration with another creator. Her name is Georgia Tonka. Now she just happened to come through my feed one day on YouTube. On her thumbnail, she had this huge smile and it just, the thumbnail just emanated joy. And I thought, ooh, this looks like someone I want to check out. And I watched her video and I subscribed immediately. I don't even remember what video it was. All I remember is she is just she has so much happiness and joy. Every time she talks about a perfume, she's always smiling and she always incorporates some sort of story or storyline into the fragrance. You just want to keep watching her. I'm so glad that I opened that thumbnail and discovered this new creator out there. So when you're done with my video, I highly recommend you check out hers. We're both doing a fun video today. It's called 10 Supernatural Scents. Halloween is just a little more than a week away, so we picked 10 scents that we thought would represent some fun kind of supernatural characters that are typically seen in movies, shows, and we thought the month of October was a great time to do this. I will admit to you that I had to do a little bit of field research for this project. She had come up with a couple characters that I wasn't super familiar with. Tapped into Dr. Google, Wikipedia, Reddit, fandom, WikiHow. It was all sorts of fun matching the characters with the fragrances that I have chosen. I don't know what she's going to choose. She doesn't know, for the most part, what I'm going to choose. And so we thought it would be fun. And with that, let's get started. So the first supernatural character is a unicorn, and I knew immediately which fragrance I was going to choose. It was a no-brainer, and it was the Blanche Bete. And I didn't know why I wanted to choose this fragrance to represent that creature, but I do think on the website they do reference the point of view being about parts of this fragrance channeling the uniqueness, kind of mystery and fantasy of a unicorn. So it is this beautiful Blanche Bete. You are not going to be able to appreciate it. I've said it before because I have 4 lights on me right now, but this is a dark orange in color. I've had it ever since it came out. It is absolutely stunning. A super, like the unicorn, a super unique perfume. I don't have anything like it. I have said this so many times, but this fragrance to me smells like you took tuberose petals specifically and you dip them in, or you drizzle them in a coconut oil. Then you put those in like a creamy milk. So it's very milky. So those white florals have a coconut edge to them. They're very creamy, milky. You dust them off with a little bit of cacao, splash them with some incense. I think it's called mystical incense, and everything is swimming in this beautiful botanical musk. This is absolutely dreamy to me. It's creamy, it's dreamy, it's magical, it's delicious. On me, this lasts forever, so I do have to be a little bit easy on the trigger when I wear this in the summer, otherwise it can be suffocating. But in the summer, I do love to layer this with like a coconut lotion, and it just brings out that tropical vibe. This is a year-round perfume. In the wintertime, I like to layer it with something vanillic, and it just screams cozy white sweater. So I'm starting off with the magical Blanche Bete. The next magical creature was very easy, and I think we both decided we were going to do the Mermaid, and I knew immediately, again, which perfume I was going to pull. In fact, the bottle made it easy for me, and it is Amare by the House of Carthusia. I mean, look at the bottle. Hello. It has, you've got all sorts of sea creatures, sea critters all over. This beautiful, one of the prettiest bottle I own, and to me, this kind of looks like a mermaid, a colorful mermaid. So this is a fragrance that does pay homage to the ocean. It has oceanic notes, very marine, it's very aquatic, thankfully without the seaweed. This is salty, it's minerally, it has a freshness, there's mint in here, and it does have a fairly prominent note of rosemary. That's gonna be the kicker. I have to be very, very careful when I spray this, particularly when it's hot. That rosemary is so strong in the beginning. In fact, I like to spray it out in front of me and actually walk in the mist and that way it's not too terribly strong. The dry down, it just gets more beautiful in the dry down. It's a little bit more woody in the dry down, and that rosemary does fade over time. If you want to know another perfume, this reminds me a lot of the Giorgio Armani in the blue bottle, blue turquoise, but this one does not have pepper and it does not have incense, and that one has a little bit more prominent vanilla. So a perfect perfume for the magical creature of a mermaid. The next magical creature or character we are going to scent is from the show Game of Thrones, and it is Daenerys Targaryen. And she, again, I'm taking the easy way out, choosing the perfume. So she has several mystical qualities. One of them is that she is fireproof, and in fact, I think some refer to her as Mother of Dragons. So it was very easy. I knew immediately which perfume I was going to choose. And it's one of my favorite perfumes, one I love to wear this time of the year. And it is The World According to Arthur, who just happens to have a dragon as the cap. Now this is a smoky vanilla. It is one of my very favorite smoky vanillas. Now there are a few smoky vanillas. One I'm thinking of right now, Lune Feline, is just straight up too smoky for me. In fact, it smells, I get that burn tire kind of a thing. This has nothing to the sort. This is still a smoky vanilla, but it does have a little bit of freshness. I want to say there's grapefruit in the top, grapefruit or orange. So it's fresh. There's something aromatic, so there's either sage or thyme. And as this dries down, as this beauty dries down, the vanilla comes out a little bit more, the incense comes out a little bit more. So smoky vanilla, because the main notes are incense and vanilla. I just adore it. But this fragrance has a nice twist. It has a nice fresh aromatic twist in the beginning. So a lovely perfume from Penhaligon's to characterize Daenerys. So the next mystical or magical character I am going to scent, and I think we're both doing this one, is a dark fairy. And we're specifically scenting Maleficent. Now I'm thinking of Angelina Jolie. And this one, I went back and forth between one or two. So I needed a perfume that was edgy, dark, earthy, a little bit difficult, a fragrance that might be hard to take at first, but underneath there was something quite lovely and likable about the perfume. And so the one I chose is called Black Beetle. Now, again, this bottle is just so darn pretty. Oriental Enigma and the Peacock one gets all the hype, and I do love those. Those are on my wish list. This one is going to be a hidden gem for some, and it is going to be atrocious for others. It's not going to be for everyone. So in the beginning, it's earthy, it's dark, it's woody, it's smoky. It's a little bit gothic. It has an interesting edginess to it. And I want to say that's because of red chili pepper. So some freshness in the beginning, red chili pepper and patchouli. So it is very heavy, almost a little bit too overwhelming in the beginning. In fact, I don't love the opening. It's a tad harsh. Some people are going to love it. But as this dries down, there's a raspberry note in here. So the raspberry comes out a little bit more. There's incense in here. It's a little smoky. The patchouli is there. It's a little smoky. It's still earthy, slightly gothic. That chili pepper gives it a little bit of kick. It gets sweeter in the dry down, a little bit more woody. And to me, that raspberry kind of stays around. So it becomes a sweeter, more tolerable, less harsh fragrance. Now, if you enjoy incense, you like patchouli, and it's not the earthy kind. If you enjoy incense, you enjoy patchouli and a raspberry note, you may very well love this perfume, and it might be a hidden gem because I don't hear anyone talk about it. So for those reasons, I decided to scent Maleficent for our dark fairy with Black Beetle. And let me know in the comments below if anyone else has tried it. The next mystical or supernatural character that we are scenting is a vampire. And this was fairly easy for me. I went back and forth between one or two. So it was going to be a perfume that was a little bit gothic, was beautiful, sweet, but dark at the same time. And again, The bottle helped me out a little bit, but the one I chose is Py Rhum. I've spoken about this before. I'm channeling vampires circa Twilight, not like zombie type vampires where their skin's falling off. No, a beautiful vampire that's very beguiling and can only be successful with her prey because she is drawing them in with her beauty. So this one is it is a vanilla patchouli perfume, and I think if you hate patchouli but you love vanilla, you may very well love this perfume. And I can think of one person who cannot stand patchouli but loves vanilla and loves this perfume. And if you're out there, you know who you are. Comment down below and let us all know how much you love this perfume, even though that you were a patchouli hater. But this is tons of vanilla, different types of vanilla, and it's sweet and earthy and gothic at the same time. But the patchouli in here is not scratchy, it's not too earthy, it's not too dirty. It's just like a sexy perfume, and it matches a beautiful vampire just perfectly. And I've had this for several months. I had this in the spring, I want to say. I think this is much better for the colder months. So Py Rhum for my vampire. The next character we are scenting is a goddess, specifically Aphrodite. And I went back and forth, and when I was first thinking about what scent did I think represent Aphrodite, sexy flower, I was thinking like a dark, sweet rose. At the same time, I thought fragrances that tend to get me the most compliments, and I find men in particular find incredibly sexy, is a vanilla. Then the light bulb went on and I remembered, oh my gosh, a perfect fragrance to scent the goddess of love would be Absolute Aphrodisiac by Initio, one of my very favorite vanilla perfumes. Holy cow, this is absolutely stunning. My mouth is watering. I gotta stop doing that. This is a creamy, ambery vanilla with a little bit of musk and some animalic notes, and it took me forever to try this because I do not like animalic notes, particularly civet and castoreum. I tend to not like those more than I like them. And I got a little sample from, a subscription service, and I couldn't believe how much I loved it. And of course I upsized to a full bottle immediately. This perfume smells differently. I've had so many different compliments from other people when I wear this. I have been told I smell like chocolate chip cookies. I've been told I smell like a cake bop. I've been told I smell like brownies. To me, this smells like a brownie, a hot brownie a la mode. Like you just took these brownies out of the oven and you put vanilla ice cream on it and it started to melt. And the aroma that you would get when you are smelling everything together just embodies Absolute Aphrodisiac perfectly. It is so good, and this has great lasting power, great longevity. I absolutely adore this. It's one of my favorite vanilla fragrances out there. I'm gonna do a top 20 vanillas of all time. I've never done that because it's so daunting to me. This would definitely make that list. It probably would be in top 10 for sure. So Absolute Aphrodisiac for Aphrodite. So I took a little bit of a detour. We are scenting a lot of the same characters, but I'm gonna scent some different ones and she's gonna scent some different ones. And it's gonna be great variety for a lot of people. So the next character that I want to scent is Cruella Deville. A lot of people will be channeling this woman in the next couple weeks. You're gonna see a lot of costumes. Cruella Deville. In fact, I was Cruella Deville one Halloween and my daughter was. We had a lot of fun. So when I think of scenting Cruella Deville, I'm thinking of cigarettes, fur, and lipstick. I mean, those are the first things I think of. So I couldn't really find a fragrance that embodied all three, but I found one that's pretty darn close, and I'm going to be generous when it comes to scenting Cruella Deville. This is going to be the best of her. So the fragrance I picked is Volutes, my very first diptyque fragrance and one of my favorite diptyque fragrances of all time. This is a gorgeous, simple tobacco, honey, iris, sandalwood perfume. It is absolutely gorgeous. I've been wearing this for years. I actually started off with the EDT, which I prefer, and I'm halfway done with that bottle, and I baby the bottle because that is discontinued. You cannot get it anymore. If you get it, it's going to be a fake. And in fact, I've said this story before. I saw an influencer or another creator talk about Volutes, the EDT, showed it up to the camera, and I noticed it was a fake. I could tell because it had the wrong label. And when I looked down in the description box, she had a link to Amazon, to buy it on Amazon. And that's why I tell you that there's so many. That's why I'm always warning you about fakes on Amazon. Anyways, back to the perfume. But this is, the EDP is still available. I don't know why they discontinued it. Anyways, but this is a beautiful honey tobacco perfume. So if you don't like tobacco because you think it's too masculine, think again. This is a feminine version of a tobacco perfume because it has this beautiful amberiness to it. It's got this beautiful honey that's not animalic. It's sweet and smooth. And you've got iris, so that's where the lipstick comes in. So I can just see Cruella Deville when she's got that cigarette in her mouth, but she hasn't lit it, smelling her best. I'm trying to be generous. It's just gorgeous and has a beautiful, smooth sandalwood in the dry down. Fantastic. I love to wear this for fall and winter. It is a beauty for Cruella. The next supernatural character I am scenting is Catwoman. And I went back and forth between 3 perfumes. Lune Feline. This one right here, I'm too lazy to go get Lune Feline. This one right here, I was gonna do the Bewitching Yasmin. I mean, hello, the bottle just screams Catwoman. And this does feel like something that Catwoman could be. But in the end, I went with one that I thought really kind of captured the sexy modern Catwoman, and it is Babycat. Hello. Catwoman is sexy. She's wearing leather. She's smoky. She's smoky. She's smoking hot. Do they still say that anymore? But I mean, a fragrance, if there was a fragrance ever created for me, it was right here. Thank you, Dominique Ropion. I appreciate you making a fragrance just for me. If you guys have been following me, you know I love incense and vanilla. Hello. This is incense vanilla perfection. It's absolutely beautiful. It's got elemi. I do enjoy elemi, which is a resin that has a piney, sweet character. It's ambery, it's piney, and it's resinous. It has a little bit of pepper. I love pepper. Another three notes that I love. I love pepper. So all these notes that I love, leather and suede can be hit or miss. But when I think of some of my all-time favorite fragrances, Babycat, Queer, Beluga, suede is in there. So there's definitely a suede in here. And it's not harsh because it has these beautiful, and of course vanilla, it has these beautiful notes. It's just drenched. It's sweet. It's hot. It's exotic, it's peppery, it's smoky from the incense, it's leathery and vanillic. It is just perfection. Absolutely love it. I love it so much that I have collected 6 or 7 fragrances that are very similar to this perfume, and they're not dupes. And after I film this, I'm going to do that video. One of my very favorite profiles of all time. Catwoman, you're smelling good. 2 more characters, 2 more fun supernatural characters I am going to scent. And the second to last one is Wonder Woman. Can you guess which perfume I chose to scent? The beautiful Gal Gadot and Wonder Woman. I'll give you one guess, and I'm super excited because I never get to show this perfume. And it is the beautiful Wonder Woman. Now I had the release from 2021 or 2022. So this is a soft, powdery, floral, fruity vanilla with caramel. And that's how I would describe Wonder Woman. So it's very fresh in the opening. I'm sure it has some sort of citruses. It's very fresh. There's this lovely raspberry note in here. It's got some greenness, I want to say Divana. Lovely vanilla, some caramel, and it reminds me a lot of, in the dry down, of Orchidée Vanille. But Orchidée Vanille has chocolate and orange, and this does not. It has a nice powdery quality, I want to say from Iris or Orris. It's powdery and soft. This is soft, unlike Wonder Woman, who's very strong. This channels more of Diana when she is not battling the bad people, and more dressed in her delicate flowy dress, because this one is a little bit on the soft side. It's not super overpowering, and it does sit closer to the skin, which is fine by me because that means it's a little bit more of a safe perfume. I can wear it out and about, and I can wear it to work. I can't wear really loud gourmands to work that's going to offend a lot of people. So I'm super thrilled that I did pick up this version, and they had a newer version this year, 2023. The bottle's just as beautiful and adorable, and I think Wonder Woman would be super happy how I scented her. Okay, so I lied. I have 2 more to go. Now this next character is just a fairy, a simple fairy. This one gave me so much trouble because I knew that a fairy was going to be sweet and light and delicate and airy and a little bit floral. And I just came up with 3 or 4 different perfumes. One I left upstairs, but the first one I thought of was Candy by Thomas Kosmala. A very fun, fresh, fruity perfume that has cherries and raspberries and strawberries, and just it's very light. It's very light and sweet and not overbearing. And I thought this would be great for a fairy, but I decided not to. The other one I was going to go with was Vaniglia de Madagascar. This is by Perfume Nest, and this is a beautiful vanilla whipped cream lily of the valley. It is a gorgeous, soft, airy, sweet, creamy, lovely, delightful, non-heavy vanilla that just seemed very ethereal. In the end, I decided against that. The next one was Crystallised Sugar. I was gonna go for this one. This one I love, but it was just too sweet. And then it was going to be Heliotrope. I'm glad I'm showing these because I can show different perfumes I never get to show. One of my favorite bottles, these bottles from Mauricia El Legrand, are just beautiful. There's something very classy about them. They have this beautiful artwork and these gorgeous little tassels. I have 4 or 5 in my collection. And this one is Heliotrope. This one captured the fairy that was powdery and floral and dusty and sweet, because this one is all about powdery florals and a little bit of sweetness that Heliotrope usually smells like. It smells like almond. So this is sweet vanillic. It has rice in it, another thing that adds a little bit of dustiness, a little bit of warmth. Very, very powdery, something a little bit nostalgic, maybe retro. It's a retro vibe. It's not gonna be for everybody. In fact, I can't wear it all the time. I have to be in the mood to wear this. But in the end, it just felt a little too retro for fairy. And then I was like, goodness gracious. I went to Wikipedia, like, what does a fairy smell like? According to Wikipedia and fandom, a fairy smells like peaches, oak moss, and tea. And as soon as I read that, I was like, I know what perfume I'm going to use. I have a perfume that I absolutely love that has peaches and oak moss. It doesn't have tea, but it's a very magical perfume, and it is Ylang in gold. This is a gourmand floral. So it's got the sweetness. You have Ylang, you have other flowers, but it's really Ylang. Vanilla, there's coconut in here. There's peaches, so we've got a nice peachiness to it. Oak moss in the base, it has lychee. And part of this perfume is very magical because it has gold sparkles. It's a very light gold glittery dusting when you spray this. So the newer bottling still has that beautiful gold glitteriness to it. A perfect magical perfume for my sweet little fairy. And the last character I am scenting, one of my favorite characters in the whole bunch, is Sherlock Holmes. And when I think of Sherlock Holmes, lots of people have played Sherlock Holmes. My very favorite is Robert Downey Jr. But I immediately knew when I was scenting Sherlock Holmes, I was going to pick this perfume right here. And I don't know why I chose it. Well, I know why I chose it, because Sherlock Holmes is always smoking a pipe. And so this was my very first tobacco love. And it's by an Italian house, Essenzialmente Lora, and this is called Calabash. This is a beautiful tobacco, unisex tobacco fragrance. My husband is always searching for the perfect tobacco. He thinks a humidor is the best smell on the planet, and I've been buying him many, many tobacco fragrances so he could find his favorite, and to this day, this is his favorite because he says it smells like perfectly unsmoked pipe tobacco. I discovered this like 4 or 5 years ago. Pat, my spouse, went to Italy with our young son at the time, and they went into the shop. There's 2 in Rome. Wait, there's 2 in Italy that I know of, and I went in both stores. There's 2 in Rome. Never mind. There's 2 stores in Rome. There are 2 shops in Italy that I went into, and I want to say they're both in Rome, but I'm not sure. Anyways, I went into both of them. And it was just, we had such a great time. But when Pat went there initially, he went into this perfume shop, and this house has little, I want to say 7 ml size fragrances that he picked about 20, and he had a great time smelling. He picked about 20, brought them home to me, and I went through them all, and I narrowed down to my 5 favorite, and Calabash and another one were my very, very favorite. So when I went back to Italy, not summer of 2023, but summer of 2022, we bought several perfumes, and Calabash was one of them. This is one that Pat he keeps trying to steal out of my closet because we both love it. And the only notes that are listed are tobacco and petitgrain. This has more going on. This has got spices. It's a little bit woody. It's sweet. It probably has honey. I'm sure it has some sort of wood. This does smell like unsmoked pipe tobacco. And I went to the website because I knew there was a reason why I was thinking Sherlock Holmes. And on the website, when they're describing this perfume, they say, who knows how Sherlock Holmes's investigation would have ended without his inseparable Calabash pipe, a fragrance to wear in peace to highlight the subtle details of great intuitions. The slightly smoky tobacco of this blend, it's for those who love to dwell in the details. Elementary, Watson. I think Sherlock Holmes is known for, his stance. He's holding that Calabash pipe, Calabash is like a gourd or a squash. In the old days, they would make pipes out of them. So that's where the name of this perfume comes from. It's perfect fit. And the website, she's a very famous European perfumer, and I think she did some bespoke perfumes for Queen Elizabeth too. But she ships anywhere, and on her website, there's something called the 8 Wonders, and you can choose 8 of any of the perfumes, and I'm not affiliated at all. You can choose 8 perfumes, and they're like 7 ml, and you get this nice collection to try out. And these perfumes are incredibly priced. They just smell so wonderful. You can tell she uses really good ingredients. This bottle right here, this 50 ml bottle, I think is 60 euros. And I think a 100 ml bottle is like 103 euros. So amazingly priced. She ships everywhere. I just checked the website to see where she ships. I know she literally ships everywhere. And I think the shipping fee is quite small, $19.29, I can't remember. So if you're like me and you're always looking for that house that nobody knows about, you want to explore a house that no one's ever heard of, I highly recommend checking out Essenzialmente Laura. So that is it for our collaboration, scenting our 10 favorite supernatural or fun fantasy characters for this October, as we're heading into this fun season where people like to dress up and run around looking like some fun character. I hope you enjoyed your time with me. I certainly had fun picking out these fragrances and doing the video. And once you're done with me, if you would go over and visit Georgia Tonka's, her video, she's doing the same thing. I think she's doing it a half an hour or an hour later. I highly recommend it. I think you will find her so incredibly endearing and fabulous, and I know you will subscribe when you see her and watch her. And a fabulous creator that I'm so happy that I came across, and she's very, very sweet and humble as well. So thanks for sticking around. Thanks for stopping. Thank you for everybody who supports me. Let me know in the comments what you thought of this perfume video and the choices that I've made, and if I missed anything, and what characters, and if I'm gonna do this again, what characters do you think we or I need to scent? And with that, I'll see you on the next one.